Welcome to this practice. Um, you could do this practice pretty much any time. It's the afternoon for me, so I have chosen the practice standing because I've been out running around doing things. And so for me to come and just kind of lie down and change that energy might be a bit too much. So if I meet myself where I'm at, where I'm a little bit more energized at the beginning because I've been running around doing my things, that I meet myself where I'm at, and I'm a big advocate for that. So doesn't mean to say that you couldn't do this at the beginning of the day when you're quiet. You could very easily do it at the beginning of the day, but that's my philosophy. So let's stand in mountain pose. And we'll just sweep the arms overhead as we lift off the heels. Coming back down. And then we're going to inhale. Still coming up off the heels, arms sweep overhead, and then exhale and come back down. And we'll do it 3 more times with or on the breath. And the beautiful thing about doing this movement is increasing the inhalation, which provides some uplifted energy. So one more. And then come down. Okay. So we're going to continue to expand on this energy sort of work at the heart center. And we'll do it from warrior one. So step at the top of your mat. We're going to extend the right leg back. There could be a little bit of external rotation of that leg bone. And then from here, the legs are going to be static. Initially, we're going to breathe and open and expand the arms wide. And then we'll exhale. So now you can see I've just kept my legs stationary, and I'm just bringing the hands to the heart center. So let's inhale, expand, and open. Nice deep breath in, and then exhale, and bringing the palms together at the heart center. So let's do that 3 more times. Maybe you can get a good 6 count inhalation. Feel the energy descend as you breathe in. Even all the way down to the pelvic bowl, and then exhale and feel the energy ascend as the hands come to the heart. And then one more time. Maybe as you expand and open, there's a gentle pause in the breath before you exhale. And then with the hands together at the heart, you could even bow to your heart and take a breath. And then we'll straighten the leg, release the arms down, and just turn so that your leg bones are both facing the front. And then we'll turn the other way. So now we have our right leg forward, the left leg extended back with a little bit of external rotation. And this first one, we'll bring the palms together and we'll move into the pose. So expand and open, and then exhale. The hands come into the heart center, and then expand and open. So the movement's quite simple. We're really bringing the emphasis on the breath work. So let's see if we can get a nice deep 6 count inhale. Feel the energy ascend from the pelvic floor as you exhale. And then as you inhale, it descends down to the pelvic bowl. And then let's do one more. And you could introduce that 1 or 2 count pause at the top of the inhale. And just getting those full breaths in just feels so good in your system. So straighten the leg, release the arms down, and then we'll turn again to face the front and bring your legs back to hip distance apart. Okay, so we'll move now through dynamic chair pose. We're going to inhale. So simultaneously, we'll sink the hips as the arms reach overhead. Then we'll forward fold. So my knees are bent, my hips are flexed. And then my fingertips come and touch the floor. And then I'm going to inhale. So kind of come back up into the chair. And then exhale the arms. So I'll stand sideways now so you can see a side view of the same movement. So simultaneously, the arms sweep up as we flex at the hips and the knees. Exhale, dropping forward, reaching the fingertips to the floor. Inhale back up into the chair and continue the momentum all the way back up. And exhale the arms. Okay, we'll go through one more. And exhale. And then just take another pause in your mountain pose. Now we'll step the right leg back and we'll just do a little bit of twisting. So we're going to bring the arms up in line with the shoulders. And then what I recommend you do is soften your knees slightly. And then you forward fold. And at the last part of your exhalation, bring your left hand over toward the right foot. And then you're simply moving your rib cage relative to the hip. Come up. So I'm going to forward fold. Last part of the breath. I'm going to start to move into the rotation. So it's the ribs rotating. And then come up. And then exhale the arms down. I'm going to do the side view again of this movement. So you can see the depth of the knee bend. So I'm stepping my legs wide. I breathe in, the arms come in line with the shoulders. I'm going to soften both knees. So I'm keeping my hips level as I move into the rotation. Breathe in and come up. And then move to the left side. So forward flexion. Knees are slightly bending. Hips stay level. And my ribs rotate or twist. And then we'll bring ourselves all the way back up. Release your arms down. And we'll place a block now. We're going to move back into the twist. We'll move a block now, just down on the floor. And as we forward fold, it's right kind of underneath my face because I want to maintain a nice elongated spine. In fact, for this day's practice, I need a block. Sometimes I can use that foam block, but today I need a little bit more height. So I'm going to hinge at the hips, soften at my knees. My left hand comes down onto the block. I'm going to lengthen through my spine, place my right hand on the sacrum. So you can see that my knees, that's locked. That's a little bend. That's a big bend. So let's stay with just a little bend. And I'm going to breathe in, lengthen my spine, and then rotate my ribs. Take a breath. And then you can explore what it would feel like to extend the right arm up toward the ceiling. And if you're okay with that and it feels okay in your system, stay. If it feels off, then bring your hand back down onto the sacrum. And then we'll bring ourselves back to the forward fold, both hands right underneath the shoulder blades, sweep them around to the backs of the legs, and then we'll come up. All right, from here, we'll inhale, exhale, back into your fold. I'm just going to switch sides and fold forward. You can see my knees are slightly bent. My spine is nice and elongated. My hand comes down on the block, which is situated underneath my face. So make sure you don't have it back here because then you sort of round over too much. So have it right out underneath your face so that you get this nice long spine. Inhale. Then on your exhale, you can soften the knees and you could even use your hand to guide the ribs around if you like. I like doing that myself. And then stay in the rotation for a few breaths. You could even place or bring the arm up. Play around with that. And if it doesn't feel good in your system, guess what? You can move back to the movement before. And then we'll bring ourselves back around to the forward fold. And then from here, just elevate and come up halfway. I'm going to bring my hands to the shins and keep a nice flat back, keeping the head just an extension out of my spine. And then full forward fold as I exhale. And then with a nice flat back, lead with the chest, come all the way back up. And then bring yourself back to standing in mountain pose. So feet are at hip distance apart. From here, we'll come up to the top of the mat and we'll inhale. So we're going to lift the arms again. Sweep them back to the upper part of the back of the legs. Inhale up to halfway forward fold. And then as I exhale, I'm hinging forward again and step into downward dog. And then we'll bring the knees down onto the floor. And then from there, we can just turn around and transition onto our back. So as we move onto our back, we'll bend the knees and nicely place your feet on the floor and just take a moment to notice the feet and how they have landed on the mat. Are you noticing a little bit more of the weight in the heels, the ball of the foot, or the base of the baby toe? Do you feel that the placement is even? So just notice a few qualities. From here, we're going to blend two poses. We're going to move up into bridge pose. There's a few poses actually. We'll be drawing the knees toward us in Apanasana. We'll do a leg extension up toward the ceiling, and then we'll return to the first, this position, okay? So let's inhale, bridge. Exhale, drop in hips, drawing the knees in. Inhale, extend the legs straight, press into your heels, arms overhead. And then exhale and the arms come down, and with feet, they return to the mat. All right, so let's move through this again. And as you do this sequence the next 2 times, become aware of your breath and the moving of the energy more into the heart center. Easier to feel it as you go into bridge than it is as you extend the legs. We'll inhale up into bridge. Exhale, knees toward you. Breathe in, feeling the breath moving into the heart center. And then exhale and bring the feet back down, and arms back down. And go through again. So now we'll move up into bridge, but we'll keep the arms resting on the floor. Be aware of the 3 points of the bottoms of your feet, center heel, ball of the foot, and the base of the baby toe. On an in-breath, elevate your hips. And then the last 2 breaths, breathe in for the count of 5. Hold the breath for the count of 1. And when you exhale, lower your hips, draw your knees in toward you. Maybe just a few times Apanasana. So we're moving the knees away as we extend the elbows, draw the knees in as we bend the elbows. And then let's play around with a twist. Bringing your feet back down onto the floor. We're going to take the right leg over the left. And then just position your arms no higher than shoulder height, but they can be a little bit lower as well. So just so that they're able to guide you to keeping your shoulder girdle on the floor as you drop your knees over to the right side. Over to the left side. So your right leg is over left and you're dropping your knees to the left. And the reason that we keep the shoulders on the floor is so that we actually are improving the hip rotation. So if you're finding as the knees come to the floor and your right shoulder, if you're going to the left, is lifting, then it might be a nice idea to bring a block or support so that they don't have to drop as far down. Now, the other part that you could put in is now turn your head to look over the right shoulder. All right, great. Bring your head back to neutral and bring your knees up. And then we'll reposition the feet. Now, what I'd like us to do here, or recommend, is just to reconnect with the tripods of your feet. Lift the hips up and down. And then we'll bring the left leg over the right. arms are in a comfortable position to help keep this left shoulder blade down on the floor as we drop the legs to the right. So right there, about halfway to the floor, is where I have a tendency to feel that shoulder blade come in up off the floor. So I'm going to take a block on top of a block, and then I'm going to just drop my knees onto the block so that my rotation is a little less. Oh yeah, that feels so good. And now I don't have a bunch of pulling in the front of the left shoulder and the back of the shoulder trying to pull up off the floor. Feels so much better. And then from there, you can drop your gaze over the left shoulder. And then we'll bring the head back up to neutral, legs back up to center, and then place the feet back on the mat. We'll do one more pose before we'll take a relaxation pose. So we're going to extend the legs out straight. I feel like I've shifted on my mat a little bit here. And from here, we'll walk our legs over to the right. And then from here, we're going to bow the torso to the right. Now, you might want to have a block. From here, we're going to bring the left arm up overhead to rest on the floor or on a block if your shoulder is tight. And so you're bowing to the right, legs and torso. And then your right hand, I'm going to move that block out of the way actually. Your right hand's going to just come onto your abdomen. And you're going to take 3 nice, deep, slow, long, deep breaths into your abdomen, feeling the abdomen rise up into your palm. Okay. And then we'll bring ourselves back into alignment. And then walk your legs to the left. And then ribs to the left. Or torso. Right arm overhead. It can hang there as long as it doesn't feel uncomfortable, that you could bring something there to rest your arm on. People with more flexible shoulders, more range in their shoulders, may be able to bring it to the floor, but it's not a goal. It's just the range that you have. So let's bring the left hand onto the abdomen and then take those nice, long, slow, 3 deep breaths. That is a nice pose and breath work to do it for a lovely calming effect. And then reposition on the floor. Now, if you feel like you need a support or anything underneath your knees, you can actually put a little bolster there. And if you feel that your head needs a little support, you could put a folded blanket. But I wouldn't bring anything like this high underneath your head, like this is too much, but maybe a folded blanket, an inch or two might be quite nice. Rest for 2 minutes here. Allow the body to be breathed. Allow the body to be supported by the surface beneath you. And just allow the practice to permeate throughout your body, integrate, relax. And come back to your breath. Wiggle your toes, move your fingers. Take an in breath and an out breath. Okay. And then we can bend our knees, roll over to the side, and come up to a seated position. And from here, you can complete your practice. And from here, you could actually even start a meditation practice. So if you want to move into a meditation practice, start to breathe comfortably through your nostrils. Feeling the in breath ascend up through the two streams, through the nostrils, to converge at the eyebrow center. And then as you exhale, it flows back down to the end of your nose and out through the nostrils and a little bit beyond. And you could sit there just following that flow of the breath at the nostrils for another 2 minutes and beyond. Thank you for joining practice today. Namaste.